All right, so welcome to another episode of Boom's Garage. Sunday, fun day in the shop, yeah, right on. What we're doing today is we've got our Boom beach cart that we built a couple years ago, and it's on, I took a bunch of pictures when I built it and put it on Instagram. It's on my Instagram account. But today we're going to be doing some enhancements to the Boom beach cart. I'm gonna add a front wheel, I think. I got most of the engineering figured out on this. A lot of it's gonna be go as you cut it as you go, figure it out as you go. But I think I got a good idea in my head on what we're gonna do. How well it's gonna work, I don't know. But as always, remember, don't burn your house down, don't cut your fingers off. All right, so this is the front wheel we're going to use, regular old lawnmower front wheel. Same as the two rear wheels on the beach cart. Like I said, we're putting a front wheel on, and I've got to build a front fork assembly kind of thing. And we're going to be doing it all out of 1-inch PVC, which the rest of the cart's made out of. Part of that is 1-inch tees, but I pressed bearings in on this one. We got some 5/8 stock. That's not 5/8. What is that? Oh, it's half-inch stock. I had a piece we used as a spacer that I dug through all my metal junk and found. But first off, let's get this other. We'll get this other front bearing assembly pressed together, and we'll show you how. We'll show how to do that in time lapse because. I don't know, I don't want to burn up a whole bunch of videos. Here we go. Alright, so there we go. That's the first piece of it. We've got both of our front bearing assemblies pressed in. They'll sit somewhere. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's raising hell outside raining. Well, that's interesting. That popped out. Hey, that's all right to be held in by pressure. But it's something like that for a front wheel assembly. Now we got to build the fork part of it. So we're gonna get on that. How about that? Not bad. So I haven't glued anything up. I'm not gluing anything until I get everything sorted. Next piece is going to be figuring out how to mount this to the Boom's beach cart. So we'll get that squared away. Alright, so when we built the Boom's beach cart a while back, I built it with this hitch assembly that hooks onto the back of the golf cart so we could go from the campsite to the beach parking area using just the golf cart, which worked out great because you could load all your stuff up at the campsite, drive down there, and then what I did was I made these quick detach, put a couple quick detach pins on it, so I could put a handle on it, and then grab a handle and pull it down to the beach, because you can't drive a golf cart down on the beach, whatever. But that meant that the weight of your stuff in here was spread between the back tires back there, and you were holding it up. What we're doing, we're going to engineer this front wheel assembly that we just built somehow or another. I'm not sure how yet, but we're going to get it here. That's what we're doing. Yeah! Back. Just talked to my little brother. I really haven't, don't get a chance to talk to him a lot on the phone, but he just called me, and or I don't know. We had a conversation, but Chad, when you're watching this video tonight, whatever. Anyway, a lot of times, you know, when you're working on something and you're engineering on the fly, you come up on a problem and you're not sure how you're going to solve it. And so you step back from it. So I stepped back from one of the issues I was having, which is I didn't like the way the front wheel was set up. So I stepped back from it, and I'm talking to my little brother and looking at this, and talking to him and looking at this. But I had the front wheel turned like this originally, where it was kind of raked forward. I really didn't like that. I got, thinking that, man, does it need to be straight up? But while I was talking to him, I thought about it. You know what? If I turn it around like this, and rake it, have it raked back just a touch. As I'm pulling it, it should continue to run true and all. So yeah, I stepped back for a minute and did something different anyway. I think, well, here's where we're at though. While I was on the phone with him, I got my couple T-pieces here mounted up, and my little keys in there, my little pins, so I can still take this front wheel off and put on the hitch piece. So while this thing's behind the cart, I'll have this on there. When I'm pulling it down to the beach, I'll put this on there. But we've got some stuff to glue up, and but before I glue it up, I want to put it down on the ground, and I guess we got to figure out a handle and some other stuff. So we're going to be working on figuring out a handle. Boomster rods, yeah. So I just backed the cart down the lift here and pulled it around the yard, and everything seems to be working pretty good considering nothing's glued in place. So I like the design. I think everything's working good. Now it's time to glue everything in place, make some marks, glue everything in place, and finish her up. So I started taking stuff apart and forgot to hit record on the time lapse. So yeah, boom, magically appeared everything. A lot of stuff's apart. But we'll go ahead and fix that now, and you can watch me time lapse glue stuff up. It's everything's all glued up. We'll let glue dry for a little bit. I think if I can find the hardware, I'm going to pin these axle nuts like I did the axle nuts on the back, drill and tap them. If I can find the hardware around. If not, I may just throw another nut on to lock them in. But let's see what we can find for hardware. Now you may have noticed we decided instead of gluing the connection right here, I decided to just pin it with some self-tapping screws. That'll hold everything together. And if I ever got to, if I decide I need to change the rake here, or I need to do something different, that'll allow me to pull it apart without doing a bunch of cutting. But not bad. Let's see if I can find the stuff to pin these nuts while this stuff is drying, and then we'll take it for a spin around the yard if it's not raining. So the only thing I can find to, I went through all my hardware and shit, the only thing I can find to pin these 1/2 inch nuts is 1/4-20 hardware, so it'll still work. We'll drill and tap these couple nuts and throw a 1/4-20 in to pin it, lock it in place. Get it done. Alright, so we've got these nuts drilled and tapped for 1/4-20, but these bolts are way too long, so we'll trim them up and put everything back together, and, so we can lock these nuts down on that axle. Yeah, Boom's Garage, yeah. All right, so here it is. It's done. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it out in the yard and go around a couple circles in the yard, make sure everything feels like it's doing right. We'll see what it feels like out in the yard, and bring it back up here and do some more stuff with it. But yeah, let's check it out in the yard. Let's see how it does when I pull it around in the yard here. Yeah, that seems to work out pretty good. Now I'll show you what I do when I need to hook it up to the golf cart. Here is the hitch portion for when I go to hook it up to the golf cart. I've got a stub, little, I think I used a piece of 3/4. I just bolt it to the back of the golf cart and this just slides over it. But when I need to hook it up to the golf cart, I'll do this right here. And now it's ready to hook up to the golf cart. Yeah. So once again, it's been just me dicking around in the yard, in the garage, doing stuff. Don't burn your house down, don't piss your old lady off, don't cut your fingers off. Boom's Garage.